Welcome to the Mashup.
Tell me whether I'm wrong or right. East or west, up or down, side to side. I sit to stand and fall to fly. Of all of my impulsive plans, pop and lock and salsa dances on demand. I follow leading off the map, and stop the chatter, scream happily.
Welcome to the Mashup.
Welcome to the mashup. Welcome to the mashup.
Welcome to the Mashup.
What's up, everybody?
I'm back.
I am your host. Oh, hey, welcome back, Sean. Can we just collectively agree as a society to stop saying in the world? This is the best thing in the world. This is the greatest thing in the world. This is the largest thing in the world. Unless it's been interred or otherwise buried, it is not actually in the world. It is at best on the world, and our language should reflect that.
I'm so happy to be back up in the world today. Like, I'm just pumped. Mashup 169. How's everybody doing? Twos, how you doing? It's been a while.
I'm doing great. How's daylight treating you?
You know, you don't like to make life easy. My first live show back, and it took me until 10:58, well 9:58 Mountain Standard Time to get through the avalanche that you put on me. I'm like, oh, this is what it feels like to be back in this world. I hope all the mashup folks are great. We got Vesper back. That wait, Shaun made bail. We all got together by you.
What an odd statement. Why would you? Why?
Yes. Well, I've been in prison. It's been a lovely prison. It's how pretty much every prisoner in Canada is treated, -2. So, I've been quite enjoying myself on this side too.
Okay. All right.
Now, okay, Mashup 169.
Any issues in the laundry room or anything like that?
No, I fought him off.
All
I
right.
fought him off. Okay, Mashup 169.
I'd like to tell you that Sean fought the good fight, but prison is not a fairy tale.
Mashup 169. How's everybody doing today? It's good to be back. By popular demand, I got a lot of texts about it, so we're bringing back this guy. Oh, hello, Vesper.
Oh, it is good to see that ugly mug.
Yes. So
the feeling is mutual.
Yes. Well, the three of us are going to roll through Mashup 169. We're going to have some fun today. We got lots in store for everyone. Before we get going, I want to say Happy Airborne Friday. Jim Sinclair, wherever you're at, Jim, he texted me about 1,000 times. I was pumped about it, but I didn't. I was like, Jim, I'm trying to be on holidays here. Stop sending me articles. Stop sending me things. Now, Jim, you may send me all of the things, okay? Happy Airborne Friday to all the military boys out there. We appreciate you fellas a lot. And if you're watching the show, like, share, and send Sean a rooster cake with a file in it. It's good to be back. It's good to be back, boys. Vesper, how's it go this morning?
Apart from seeing Tuz's face, great.
All right.
I thought we settled this last week, bro.
Oh,
why are we back?
Settled. Nothing has been settled.
Man,
it's
thanks.
like Batman and the Joker. We're just gonna continue doing this dance.
Yeah, I know. It's sad. Well, at least we have Harley Quinn with us.
So
I don't know if you're ever at a live event with him, he's much more the calendar man than anything else.
Yeah.
All right.
You know what, Sean? We're not gonna go jumping all over you today, but something tells me we're just, you're the nicest guy here. That's all I'm saying.
By a mile.
By a mile. All right. Well, you want to start with the Coots 6.5. I know this. I don't know. Do we need to change the headline? I think
we got to come up with a new name for it.
Well, it's the Canadian legal system, is what it is. Okay. First, one of the headlines from the National Post. I'm just going to read the headline. From killings to rape, the heinous crimes that could get you less jail time than a Freedom Convoy organizer. You two have basically, Twos and Guess have been basically talking about this. We've been talking about this for like 2 years now.
We have been like, welcome to the party, pal. There's so many people who are like, isn't it crazy that you can get less time for doing really bad things with a baby than mischief, than protesting the government? And Like, yeah, we cover this every week. We've been covering this forever. And then now there's the National Post headline. There's Andrew Coyne, who is basically the Bruce MacArthur of the Globe and Mail, which isn't saying much. The right's new cause, crime without punishment, and its new martyrs, the Ottawa hostage takers. Basically ripping on the fact that all of a sudden over the past week, everybody wants to point out that the justice system will give you fuck all for punishment for most normal things. And if you're protesting the government, they will throw the book at you.
I mean, you don't even have to go that far. I mean, I know we're probably going to get to it. Hey, Vesper, how do you know we're in a clown country? Easy. We have diplomats that engaged in fraud for several years, and no one's arrested. Wow, Canadian government officials embezzling the Canadian citizenry. No arrests. They were just fired. Is there some kind of legal precedence where we could just fire, like, Tamara and Chris as Canadian citizens and then just drop the whole thing? I think that would be, for me, tantamount to like what we're facing at this point as Canadians. I don't know. Do you agree?
I mean, we don't really fire anybody as Canadian citizens. I mean, we're going to get to it later, but there's like 600 people who are scheduled to be deported that they just kind of lost track of. There's this ongoing, like literally 40-year deportation case for an Italian mafioso that has not been resolved yet. We don't really fire people from being in Canada.
Yeah, but we'll fire people that are diplomats for taking kickbacks, defrauding people, governments, taking flights to Monaco, and doing all of this. But hey, it's a two-tier justice system, Sean.
There's like 5 different tiers.
Nah, okay. And look, you're right. And in a way, it's just 5, maybe 7. But the point is that it's clearly not rigged for us. We get no pass at all.
Well, what do you mean we? You get a bunch.
I'm talking about the non-immigrants. I am privileged. I received.
You get the immigrant.
Yeah, I got the privilege card when I.
You get the fucking Quebec.
Yeah,
tier.
I have it all. I have it all. You guys have nothing. I'm holding a royal flush. You guys have a bunch of 2s.
Did I mention I'm happy to be back? These two yahoos. I just wanted to say, is it possible that the National Post finally uses this headline because Pierre Poilievre and others are starting to point out how ridiculous this is? Doesn't it just seem like they're
grifters, Sean. They don't.
No, I agree.
No. This is Tristan Hopper. He's been talking about this kind of stuff for a while.
If it's Tristan, it's different. I'm talking about everybody else that's covering it, because even Paul Champ is like outraged, but the guy that's suing them for Ottawa is all outraged. Let me get this straight, you clown. I thought I was a clown. You're the guy suing them, and then you go on social media and go, look, I know we're suing them for like $160 gajillion, but 8 years in prison, that's ridiculous. This is Canada.
I think that if anything, that points out how ridiculous it is.
Maybe that should be the headline. This is Canada, twos. Canada, speaking of it, faces 35% tariffs today. Today was the deadline, August 1st. U.S. President Donald Trump has signed an executive order pushing tariffs on Canada to 35% beginning today, following through on a threat.
Before you say anything, I think Twos explained this to everybody. Remember last time, Twos, when we were in squabbling over many other things, we agreed on this.
Like Bonesaw?
Bonesaw is ready. I think it was with my family when they were like, y'all, I just heard that y'all got like a 35% tax. And I was like, no, it's actually y'all that are getting the 35% tax, you freaking hillbillies. And they're like, what do you mean? Y'all are getting the tariffs? I'm like, no. That fromage from Quebec that you love, you have to pay 35% on that. They're like, I think you got your numbers wrong there, cuz. I'm like, no, I don't have my numbers wrong. And I think the more tariffs are going to apply on us.
These are Lebanese people who apparently live in Alabama
and Louisiana.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. What, you think we can't travel?
No. I think it's become exceedingly obvious.
Literally,
that you guys are more than capable of that.
Literally desert walking people who can endure scorching heat on camels. You think we can't go to other countries? Come on, bro.
Why are you guys called nomad when you're always upset about shit?
That is the question. That
Speaking-
is the question.
Continuing on with Canada, gents. Canada recognized Palestine here.
Well, I just want to point out
Do you?
here. I gotta.
What do you want to point out?
Okay, no, this is good. About the whole tariffs thing. So one of the big points of contention is the dairy cartel, and this is a New Zealand article talking about how bullshit the dairy cartel in Canada is. You got to go all the way to
they got a dairy
Auckland to
cartel.
get-
Hold on. They got a dairy cartel in the States too, bro.
Yeah,
I don't know
they
what you're
do.
talking about. So, I mean, what's this outrage from the Americans? Y'all got a dairy cartel. So do you. You, in fact, make more milk and cheese than all of Canada combined in one state. Do you know the name of that state, folks?
Wisconsin.
So what's this whole we're a dairy cartel and you're not? Like they have the same thing. I'm sorry. I don't want to hear any more of this. Yeah, okay, we got mafia here. So do they. How's this changing
That
anything?
doesn't make it right.
Oh, look at you again, living in your utopic mindset. That doesn't make it right. Oh, it doesn't make it right. You're supposed to be bone saw lover, bro. What is
Everybody has mafias, so it's
Yes,
fine if we
that's
got
right.
one.
Okay, so what do you want to live in a country where there's no mafia and dairy cartel? Seriously?
That is correct.
Okay, good luck. I'll see you on Mars with Elon.
Canada to recognize Palestine. Twos, I'm
You
not.
probably won't be able to immigrate there.
Statement by Prime
Arabs
Minister
can go
Carney
anywhere.
on Canada's recognition of a Palestinian state. That is, Canada intends to recognize the state of Palestine at the 80th session of the United Nations General Assembly in September of 2025.
You realize you just opened a can of worms for me, right, Sean?
That's what I'm here for. That's what
yeah.
I'm here for, Vesper.
I'm going to let Batman say something, and then you can let the Joker say something.
Oh,
I mean,
interesting.
I assumed that you're the one in black and white.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. If we're bringing the Batman reference back up, I don't think we can
Fine,
call him Batman.
Listen, I love being Batman, and I'll take it. So I don't know if you guys saw what I posted. I got a bunch of people that made, to me, no sense, and maybe Twos and Sean could set me on straight here based with their perspective. So this whole outrage about, like, how dare you, want the statehood of Palestine. I posted a video from 2018 where Trump was sitting with Benjamin Netanyahu right next to him. Up until that point, between 2016 and 2018, when that happened, that interview with him and Bibi next to each other, he said, I think a two-state solution is probably the best solution, but that's just me. I may disagree with Bibi. Okay, that was Trump. 2018, 1,400 people between 16 to 18 were maimed or killed in Israel. Okay, and he was sitting there next to Bibi going, I think a two-state solution is the best option. Every clown and their mother starts writing me, that's until October 7, 2023. And I'm like, so hold on. Does that invalidate the fact that 1,400 people died when he was implying that Palestine should be considered a state? And now they're like, context matters. I'm like, context mattered then too. Why was he even suggesting that? Wasn't that remotely offensive after they killed 1,500 Jews or maimed and injured them? No, apparently it wasn't. It's only after October 7th. Now it matters to Trump that, yeah, you can't call them a state. Dude, you're the one that said it. There's an incongruence in your logic here. Well, now suddenly everyone's happened. All this is happening, and Twos and I covered this last week, that this is kind of like along with this whole Epstein debacle. All of this is happening, and something's telling me there are levers being pulled here that none of us are seeing.
Well, obviously there's levers being pulled that none of us see. I'm curious, Vesper or Twos, for a second here. When I was reading into it, the only difference between what Canada's about to do and what the U.S. wants to do, and maybe I'm wrong in this, and by all means clear this up, Canada wants to recognize the state of Palestine and then gives off a whole list of things that, they have to make sure, intention is predicated on Palestinian authorities' commitment to much needed reforms, including the commitments of the president to fundamentally reform its governance, to hold general elections in 2026, in which Hamas can play no part, to demilitarize the Palestinian state. And when I look at what the U.S. is suggesting is they want Palestine and Israel to come to terms themselves, which is Israel taking key locations along the border. I may be oversimplifying that, but they're not saying they don't want Palestine to have a state. Or am I wrong in this?
I'm going to let the Joker
No.
speak first.
Okay, well, I mean, the problem with the states is that what they want tends to change from day to day. As far as I'm concerned, everybody on that particular little plot of land sucks. And everybody has been reprehensible at the very least.
Everybody?
Many times. Yeah. Israel,
Everybody.
Palestine, Israel, Palestine, that plot of land, there isn't a single party involved in that.
Okay, politically. I thought you meant like everybody in that area. Okay, sorry.
Yes, all of the children, all of the babies,
Yeah.
all of them.
I mean, I expect this
The
from
dogs,
white people. Yeah,
the
I
cats.
expect this from white
No.
people. It's okay.
Like, even, okay, you go back, preceding the Balfour Declaration, all the way up to today, there's no group that is blameless in any of it.
No.
And there's no good, nothing good is going to come out of this. The best thing for Canada and everybody else to do is just, we're going to stand back. You guys figure it out. You're all dicks. And we'll deal with whatever fallout happens when it's finally figured out. We shouldn't be sending anybody foreign aid. There should be no sides in it. We shouldn't even have an opinion on it because there isn't a good stance to have on that situation.
Okay, can I share my thoughts on this?
Yeah.
Being the only person that's actually from that area and not a
You're
guy
not
that lives
from
on a
that
potato
area.
farm.
You're from like 1,000 miles away from that area.
I'm born in Lebanon.
Yes.
What are you
how
talking
far
about?
away? How far away is Lebanon from?
It's a 30-minute drive to the border
To-
of Israel.
How many countries do you have to go through?
None. Why don't you read a map, white boy? Royal Flush. I'm changing my name. My new name is not Twos. It's Royal Flush. That's going to be my name. Listen,
there was
let-
at
let
least
me-
one country in between.
No. That's
Okay.
so. Here's
Before
the,
you get going, you don't get to name yourself Vesper. The community, the people watching will dictate the names. All right.
fine. Four of a kind at least.
I'm Royal Flush. I'm Twos. I'm Batman. You don't get to call yourself.
You don't get to pick your own
jackasses.
nickname. That's what Kevin O'Leary did when he's like, yeah, everybody calls me Mr. Wonderful, and I've never heard
Anyone call him Mr. Wonderful. Anyways, Vesper, your point.
So here's really the issue for me, anyways. I don't care if you go back prior to Balfour Declaration, all this shit that just happened is because of it's really honestly it's the fault of the British and the
Yep.
French. That's it.
Yep.
The real architects of this entire debacle are and Jewish historians. You have an Oxford University professor who's a Jew, Avi Shleim, who literally says the Brits were double dealing. They were promising things to the Palestinian Arabs, the Arab Spring, and they were promising things to Israel. And they wanted Israel to have its own land because the Zionists were fighting for this, which is their right, right? It's their right to want a land, but they're mostly European. They weren't mostly Middle Eastern. What happened was, and get this, just to sum it up real quick. So the Palestinians are living there. There were Jews already there. It's just that they didn't. It wasn't called Israel, but they weren't prominent, right? It was mostly Islamic Arabs. And then out of nowhere, like this whole thing happens with the Balfour Declaration, and now there's a massive influx of Jews, and they parcel off a piece of land that belonged to, let's say, other people that had deeds and blah blah blah. And they were doing all of this, not for them, and it created this rift between them. Now, I want to back up a little bit. Now that Twos and I agree that this is all because of Britain and France, and to some degree the United States.
With the parceling out of the Ottoman Empire and the fall
Precisely.
of the First World War.
Precisely. But let's go current events. Here's the problem with the current events. I agree with Israel's stance here that Hamas are basically a bunch of cowards who are hiding among civilian populations to wage this kind of warfare and to issue a Palestinian state. If it was truly a noble and pure cause without like psychopathic Hezbollah Hamas terrorists in the mix, I think it would be a fair thing to say. The problem is when you create a Palestinian state that has been infiltrated by terrorists, you're giving validity to a state that wishes to do nothing but eradicate the Jewish nation. That's what makes it wrong. Take all the innocent civilians and give them a state called Palestine without infiltration of Iranian, Saudi Arabian, name it, any kind of terrorist faction, extremist terrorist faction that hates Israel and wants them to die, then a Palestinian state makes sense. But to pretend that these cowards in the Middle East, whether they be from this country or that country, are actually looking for something noble like their own state, like to be declared a state. No, what you want is you want the perfect front for your terrorist operations. This is where I agree with Israel, because let's face it, that they're hiding these cowards among civilians. They could care less about their own people, much less the Jews. And so from a purely strategic perspective, somebody that's lived there, I've lived in the war, we left the war, Canada welcomed us in when we were trying to flee that war. The problem is that this whole thing is predicated upon these terrorists, whether it be Hezbollah or Hamas working with Iran, infiltrating Israel and fighting for this right for Palestinian statehood. Mofos, you guys were kicked out of the kingdom of Jordan because of the kind of troublemakers you were. You think now suddenly with your liberation army, Palestinian Liberation Front army, you're going to go into Israel and have a peaceful two-state solution? That's two's land where, like, you know, fairies and unicorns float around. That doesn't work. Okay.
Side note, I don't know why, but I had thought that Lebanon was roughly where Turkmenistan is.
Fair.
You know the best thing about twos calling you out on where you're from.
Please, yes,
Well,
let it out. Let it out. Don't hold it in.
I'm pointing out exactly how
Don't
wrong I was.
hold it in. Let it out, Sean. Be free. Let it out. Sean is now red like a lobster. Please let it out.
Well, that's funny because it's like he didn't know where Lebanon was, and I'm like, "What? You're hammering on him, and then you're like, actually, I didn't even know where it was. I was just
That's
hammered."
that's the funny
I'm
part.
just pointing out the fact that I'm pointing out how wrong I was.
All right, Sean. Now I have to. I actually don't know how to say his last name. Is it Fucht? No, it can't be Fucht.
Freud.
Right.
Freud.
Sean Fucht.
Fucht. Fucht.
My first day back, and I got a troublesome name. All right. City of Abbotsford in British Columbia, Fraser Valley says it will not issue a permit for a concert by Sean Fucht, becoming the latest Canadian cancellation for the American Christian musician who was outspoken in the Make It America Great Again movement. We have this is a big to do. Because he's made headlines, but he is by far not the first person to have venues canceled. We can all recall James Lindsay here in Alberta for one.
Mm-hmm.
But your guys' thoughts on?
Well, look at
Sean.
Danger Cats. How many times they've had to like change venues and stuff like that. It's interesting because if so basically the standpoint is, so if you look at what David Eby said, he said that he uses his music to target gay people. And that's wrong. And we just finished talking for 10 minutes about a fledgling country that throws them off fucking buildings. Like, why is it that we have had protests for what, 1 year, 2 years for Palestine, who will openly kill gay people? It's illegal to be gay in Palestine. The best you can hope for is to go to jail if you're gay, which is actually kind of the same thing in Canada too, actually, but on a different note. But if him supposedly having songs targeting gay people is enough to get all of his public appearances canceled, why the hell are we letting Palestinian protesters run rampant through this country for literal years when they just throw them off fucking buildings?
Well, I mean, I think you need to go a step further. Most churches call out that homosexual lifestyle. Are we going to close all churches now? Right. So here's the problem, right? It's a worldview problem. And Sean,
It's not even
I
just
said,
churches. It's
yeah, no,
mosques,
let's start with one beast at a time, too. Can we just
All right.
not throw everybody right away into the mix, into this blender? Sean, I sent you a thing which kind of blew up because even Ezra Levant noticed it and put it out there. Everybody was talking initially here in Montreal, which is like the racist capital of Canada, and like basically it was like they didn't get a permit. They didn't get a permit. They didn't ask for a permit. And I don't know if you see the link I sent you. There's actually a CTV article where Catherine Cadotte, I'm saying it like exactly how you would say it in Quebec, who is the spokesperson for Valérie Plante. If you go to her Instagrams, her socials, we're talking woke AF. Okay. So the issue was not that you didn't get a permit. It was that we were lobbying for you not to even be able to get said permit. Initially, what Freud wanted was to do a public concert in Mount Royal. You know that place in Montreal that's a mountain and has a cross on top, right? A Christian cross called Mont Royal, the mountain of the king, which is Jesus Christ. Yeah, you can't do that. But if you want to hold entire marijuana festivals on Mount Royal under the cross of Jesus Christ, go ahead. You don't need a permit. But come to sing about Jesus with a cross of Jesus. Yeah, we're not going to do that.
See,
and then
the marijuana thing makes total sense, though, because like everybody gets the munchies, and then now you've got to do the loaves and fishes thing.
Yeah, that's a bit blasphemous, but I'll let it go because you have the IQ of an ape. So first thing, okay, think about this, Sean. Where he wanted to do this was in Mount Royal. Quebecers know we can almost all of us see across from like 100 kilometers away, okay, sometimes, and see it perched at the top of that mountain. He wants to do a concert there, and they're like, that is intolerant. We're all about inclusion. I'm like, hey, and this is just in my head, right, Sean? I'm like, hey, if Christ was so tolerant, why was he crucified? Right? If he agreed with everything, then everybody should have loved him. Wait, are you saying that not every worldview is right? Yes, not every worldview is right. There are people advocating now to legalize pedophilia. It's all about inclusion. No. And that's the problem. We've shifted the goalpost so much that we've elected these like champagne. I wouldn't even call them socialists. They're not socialists. They're all just evil, dude. They don't care. They don't care about your worldview. All they care about is whoever they need to pander to and look like as if they're more virtuous than you, right? They're self-righteous, bigoted people that once they leave office, and again, it kind of harkens back to when we first met, Sean, and this is where I'll land. This is never going to end. I know people like Twos believe we can end it. It's never going to end. You're always going to have a class of people that are going to become too self-righteous for their own good. It just so happens that Mr. Freud is seeing what a socialist Canada looks like. It's not like as if under Obama, this was so good too. They were targeting churches under the FBI. Do you guys remember that? When the FBI was sending people to churches or and to parents who were fighting against this kind of like indoctrination? You see what I'm saying? Like, for me, it's not to doom pill everybody. It's to say, I don't know why it's being turned like as if it's into a big shock. François Legault said like last year, we want to remove any type of preaching or prayer in public in Quebec. That was last year.
I think on this show, none of this comes as a shock. This has become one of the things by doing this show week after week after week after week is we just see it play out in different forms week after week after week, but it's the same things too.
I was just going to say, at the end of the day, it's just absolutely silly that these liberals in Canada, elbows up all the time. But they get mad about a guy celebrating a dude whose religion was literally founded by a guy being elbows up.
Bike lanes. Devin Dreeshen met with Calgary Mayor Jody Gondak about city bike lanes. He walked away with what he sees as a win for motorists. For her part, when Gondek spoke at City Hall after the meeting with Drishan, it became clear bike lanes is not a political hill the mayor is prepared to die on. Quoted, she seemed very open to change the bike lanes that are being planned and also willing to change existing bike lanes put in place.
This is a boring subject for me, so I have nothing to say about this. I don't care what happens to you Albertans out there.
Well, there's more to it though. Ontario court strikes down Ford's government plan to remove Toronto bike lanes. So they literally got a court injunction to keep the bike lanes in place because they're like a human right now or some fucking bullshit. The provincial government, Ontario, Alberta, any of them. We talked about Halifax a couple weeks ago. Nova Scotia, none of it. You should not have a say. The municipality should be able to do whatever the hell it wants regarding their bike lanes, no matter how stupid they are. That's their prerogative. That's what they're there for. If they want to make dumbass decisions and people keep voting for the dumbass decisions, they should be able to go along with it.
From bike lanes, folks, to Sydney Sweeney. A commercial equates to fascism. Twos, I assume you want to show the commercial, yes?
Well, I mean, I guess I could. There's like 50 things here. I got to find which one it is.
Well, I can show what why
Yeah.
Sydney Sweeney's good genes ad is being compared to Nazism. That's one of the things put out online. You can see what she's wearing, But
Yeah,
I
so-
assume Twos wants to show the video. Do you want to show the video or not? I assume
Well,
you want to put the pretty lady on the screen for everyone to
the
see.
pretty lady is on the screen. We could show the ugly lady on the screen too. So basically what's happening is that she did this campaign for American Eagle saying that Sydney Sweeney has good genes. It's a very obvious pun. And then you get shit like this.
That entails this Sydney Sweeney commercial is so embarrassing. Unfortunately, you can't argue with people who tout those beliefs because they lack critical thinking skills. So I think we should just start shaming them instead.
At the end of the day, this is an attractive woman selling garments that will, in theory, make you more attractive. And nature's healing. 2 years ago, it was Dylan Mulvaney with the whole Bud Light thing. And that didn't go over well. But the woke people loved it because they could look better by comparison. And that's why they hate this whole Sydney Sweeney thing. It's not this thinly veiled attempt to equate it with Nazism. They're just mad about the fact that we're normalizing attractive people again. And
Well,
so all of these...
Here's Arby's too. Arby's.
Yeah, Arby's is doing a new thing. Hot girls eat Arby's, and they've got all these hot chicks with Arby's. It's great. Like it's pretty simple. This has been marketing 101 for thousands of years, and it's only over the last couple that we had giant, disgusting, objectively disgusting women in Calvin Klein ads.
Yeah, and by the way, have you guys noticed like people have switched from calling things fascist to going to the extreme definition of Nazism, right? So fascist, the word itself just means a group of people or a bundle of people in Old Latin. I could call the liberals fascist. I could call the conservatives fascist, but that wasn't charged enough. We need to find a word. So explain to me how a woman advertising clothing is comparable to a German dictator who killed millions of people and tried to take over the world twice.
It isn't. And that's the thing, is that this isn't anything to do with Nazism. It isn't anything to do with any sort of definition of fascism. These are a bunch of
Butthurt people.
Unattractive.
Butthurt.
Yeah.
Butthurt.
And
That's all.
every time Sydney Sweeney gets another ad campaign where her fucking Chinese spy balloons are dressed up in a Canadian tuxedo, they get upset because people are looking at attractive people rather than them while they're sitting at home worried about catching the next variant of diabetes.
I don't know, Sean, if you watched the latest Fantastic Four, and if you want to talk about it. Even Disney, the literally the monster of wokeism, right, got the message, and they've not completely reverted from wokeism, but they've taken 5 steps back from, like the psychotic LGBT agenda to just Me Too again. So they haven't gone back to complete normal. They just went back to Me Too, because the entire movie has nothing about woke, nothing about homosexuality, nothing. It's all about a husband who loves his wife, a man who's proud of being heterosexual, and a guy that's rock hard. So besides that, it's just absolutely.
I'm sorry, is that the same person described 3 times?
I'll let your listeners can decide what I'm trying to say. So the beauty in this is that even the monster of wokeism itself is getting the message, right? That I think was echoed worldwide by Elon Musk when he told him to go F himself. And that you and your entire, what the beauty in all this is, Sean and Twos, is
Sydney
that
Sweeney?
it's that money talks, BS walks.
So there's the Tuesday put it was a news report on like CBS, and they're talking about this, right? And at the end, right at the very end, the guy says, "An American Eagle stock has surged, like it's soared,
Right.
soared."
And
And I'm like, and there's what they're staring at. They don't,
Right. And
that's
by the way, what happened at
that's what
Target?
drives me crazy.
But hold on.
because-
What happened at Target, Twos? When you would have thought that if Target succeeded because of the Rainbow Coalition, then Target would have succeeded. It was tanking everywhere.
Go woke, go broke. I mean,
But why did it take them so
lost
long?
Billions in market cap over the Dylan Mulvaney thing. But the problem is for
Victoria's
these,
Secret. Victoria's Secret. Do we recall?
Oh yeah.
yeah. Well, I mean, the thing about it is that you've got these unattractive people who love this because for years it was normalizing the fact that they look like shit on a high fructose corn syrup diet. And then
but you're
all
mean.
of a
You're not
sudden,
allowed to
Sydney
say that.
Sweeney comes in. All of a
you're not allowed
sudden,
to say that.
Sydney Sweeney comes in with these Area 51 declassified mammary missiles, pointing out the fact that she's everything that they could be if they got on a fucking treadmill.
I mean, if you really want to laugh at this whole thing, I think Adele, when she started losing all that weight, remember how everybody loved her because she was obese?
Yes,
And
because she wasn't a threat.
Right. The second she decided to take care of her health, now you're making us all look bad, bro. That's the problem. Every
that's
one
exactly
of these things
it.
that's happening, and it really says, guys, to the entire West, look, here's the thing. Every Middle Eastern country watches the West and is laughing at you. All the Eastern European countries are looking at Canada, US, and laughing at the show. Hollywood is no longer reserved for Los Angeles. It has become the entire continent. The show and the insanity is something that boggles like all my family. I have family that live out in Sweden, and they're like, this is ridiculous. I mean, they are very liberal in Sweden, but imagine even they are like mocking what's happening to us here, right? So the I think the insanity is I don't think it was like, oh, this is a great idea. I think a bunch of major corporations got involved, wanted to destroy the nuclear family and to shake up society, and it cost them big time. They think they moved the goalpost. They have not. And it is actually backfiring on all of them. This is why all these companies, first of all, left the green agenda, right? How many banks dropped Carney and his DEI woke? And look at what's happening to EVs. Look what's happening to all of these things. All of this was a grift, and we're just seeing the tail end of this grift. And the people that were brainwashed throughout this grift, some of them are still hanging on. But I'm sorry, it's going to end. It cost us, but it's going to end.
All right,
This wasn't okay. I could talk about this all day.
I know you could, and we have been.
All right. So here's the thing, though. I get what you're saying, but this isn't quite how you're putting it. I don't think this is a very, very loud minority, not in terms of mass, but in terms of individual heads. This was a very loud minority of petty, jealous people. You talk about like that, like if you talk about how women get embarrassed when they show up wearing the same outfit. Guys, if we wore the same outfit to a thing, we'd be like, oh, that's awesome. Guys don't care. It's girls that care. And there's this subset of women that just love bringing the other ones down. This tall poppy thing, and that's exactly what this is and what it's been for years. The tall poppy thing made its way into advertising, and they said, we don't want attractive women on billboards because it points out how far away from it we are. And the logical conclusion is that we could get pretty damn close to that if we took care of ourselves and took some personal responsibility for how we are. And it's a lot easier for me to just scream into TikTok about how unfair it is to the septum-pierced, blue-haired, armpit-haired, gross people.
That's a very, very intelligent insult, Tuz. Just want you to know that.
Almost 600 foreign nationals with criminal records due to be deported are missing, CBSA says. Canadian border agents are trying to track down almost 600 foreigners with criminal records who are due to be deported but have gone missing, 431 of whom have been found guilty of serious crimes such as sexual assault.
Is anybody surprised by this?
I am, quite frankly. I thought my people were better than this. I thought my people were better. Like, come on, guys. This needed to stay under the radar. What the hell? You should have done better. What are you thinking? Imad, what are you thinking? You are not supposed to put it in front of camera. I feel like I'm watching Casino. Remember when that guy walked in with like the mink coat? He's like, what are you doing, buddy? You want the cops to look at all this? And I'm like telling all my other Middle Eastern friends, like, hey, guys, we need to lay low a little bit. And that one guy buys like a massive limousine and mink coat for him and his wives. And I'm like, you are going to get this all in trouble.
It's like Superman 3, where they're like, we're never going to catch the guy who's doing this. We have no way of knowing who it is. And then Richard Pryor pulls up in a brand new convertible.
Right, exactly.
We
are not always the smartest people. I will say this. Okay, sometimes we are very smart, other times not so smart.
Ford government agrees to pay a fee as it terminates $100 million contract with Elon Musk's Starlink.
Yeah, man, that was so confusing.
What's confusing about it? It's just idiot.
Well, I'll tell you what's confusing about this, because there's the typical kind of corruption, and then there's the very, very, very obvious collusion corruption. And this is what boggles my mind. Like, there was a time, like, you remember that in the movie The Dark Knight, Tuz and Sean? Remember when the Joker? Okay, so in that movie, there's this line from the Joker, you know, who says, "This city deserves a better class of criminal,"
and I'm gonna give it to him.
Right. What happened to the class of corruption in this Canada? Like, the quality's just gone down. What is Ford thinking?
You're presuming, if I'm understanding you correctly, that they just signed a bullshit contract and then canceled it so that they could just hand him a bunch of money, and that was the plan the whole time.
Well, no, because I'll tell you why. In Quebec, for example, right, there are.
Lay this out for me. Where's the corruption? Where's the criminality?
The way I see it is, it's not just a pure waste of money. It's that there's probably other competitors that want in on this market, and I think Doug Ford didn't profit from this in some sense. And for me, this is an obvious, for him anyways, it's a conflict. How do I make money off this? And I don't think he makes any money off this personally, or kickbacks. There are a lot of things that are happening in Quebec and Ontario in the back of my mind where I'm like, you're going to give out all this money, but you're not going to see any profit personally from this. Why not sign with another company that could help you benefit this? Because everybody wants to compete with satellite, with Starlink. And so it makes sense to me. But the problem is, it's too obvious. I don't know. Do you not see what I'm trying to say?
I see what you're saying, but I want to throw Occam's razor at it, which
okay, fair.
That for all other else being equal, the simplest answer is usually correct. Doug Ford doesn't actually believe anything conservative. If you look at his track record, he would be a liberal in everything but the name of the party. And so everybody hates Elon Musk now in the liberal circles because he was working with Trump for 3 months. And that's enough to just make him, a fascist, Nazi, whatever, blah, blah, blah. So now he gets to cancel the Starlink contract because it feels good. And he doesn't actually bear the brunt of, he doesn't actually pay the cost out of his pocket. This is a deal that he made that he changed his mind on.
Right.
Fair
And
enough.
I think
you want to do
and
that.
I-
You want to do
and I-
that. Have the political party pay the thing. But
No,
here's
no, hold on. But that's the point. Your take, Occam's razor, is too simplistic for me. Of course, I could default to he's an idiot and he's pandering. But none of these guys, it's never one stone hits one bird with these clowns. It's always they're doing multiple things with one decision. And in the back of my mind, there's probably a competitor that wants in on this market that he would rather promote than give it to someone like Elon. And of course, he doesn't care. It's not his money. How's he going to make money off this? That's my conspiracy theory in this, is that the class of criminal in this country has really degraded, where it's now become obvious that you just want to make money off something you can't. I mean, look at what we did as a federal government when we went after Google and Facebook and everybody trying to shake them down for money, right? This is what I think is the MO of all these, you call them liberal kind of politicians. They're always trying to shake down someone. And when they don't get their way, they try to do something else through the CRTC.
right. Side note on this, I don't think we're going to come to agreement on that. But side note on this, here's the thing: if you gave Doug Ford $1 billion and you said, "Get high-speed internet to everybody in rural Ontario and keep the change,"
Right.
he would immediately give everybody Starlink.
Right.
And
that's my point.
The thing. That's my point too, is that he's canceling it to pander, right?
No, he's not. It's not coming out of his pocket. See, you're saying
I was the one who made that point.
No, but is it going to his pocket?
Here's the thing: is it was
possible?
His damn money?
Hold on. Let's Shaun ask the question.
Is it possible that two things are true at the same time?
Yes, of course.
Elon Musk has put himself in a position where if you are against those things, it's easy. Doug Ford, that would be simply what Tuz is saying. It's an easy, like, we're going to get rid of you because it's socially acceptable to get rid of you. And then he's probably going to find a replacement where he lines some of his pockets to what Vesper's saying.
Right. Well, or let me ask a hypothetical and we'll move on. What if Elon decided to give him, like behind the scenes through crypto, $1 million to not do this? Would he have done it?
I don't think Elon would have.
I'm just saying if he would have.
If he would have.
Is
hypothetically.
If, sure. But if you look at it from Elon's perspective, you do this pilot project of getting a government contract to do high-speed internet to everybody in a rural location in one province. Boom, it's successful. You get to do it in all the other provinces. You get to do it in rural Brazil. You get to do it in rural Spain. You get to do it in Turkmenistan, where you're from. It opens the doorway where people
Shaun,
look and they say,
I think I finally figured out your little sidekick over here. He wants to live in a make-believe world, and it's not happening soon enough. So he's complete. Yes. People need to follow logic and economics. That's the reality we live in. Never mind that we've basically been invaded by socialism, communism, Russianism, Maoism, all of these things that have repeated themselves for 2,500 years. But no, everything's going to stop because we need to go with Tuz's take on how reality should work.
Mental note for Tuz, and maybe for me. When we're bringing Vesper on, and we're going to have the three of us do this, we're going to focus on 15 things. 15, okay? And he's going to laugh. We're going to pick 5 real topics you can go at each other with, which I didn't see Elon Musk being the one that just, because what did I tell both of you? I'm like, last Friday was excellent, but you need somebody to keep it on the rails because you guys went all over the place, spent 2 hours. I look at my thing and I'm like, we are through this much of the mashup, and you two,
okay,
we're moving on.
Well, no, because let's talk about Elon Musk and Sydney Sweeney at the same time. Let's bring it all together.
Also, Shaun, next time, just keep your nose clean, man. Next time, don't end up in jail.
Exactly.
Why are you blaming us, bro? Our noses are clean. We weren't in prison.
Kept it in your pants. All right.
So Premier Tim Houston, more housing, more affordability, more momentum. We're building 29 new affordable homes in Port Hawkesbury. Here you go. There they are.
Did that really need 3 syllables there, Shaun? Port Hawkesbury. We sprechen the English,
So look at
Why-
look
why
at the
does
size
this-
of these.
why does
These-
this matter?
These are houses for families.
Why does this matter? Yeah, it's better than a trailer.
It's like a quarter of the size of a trailer.
Okay, listen.
Look at them.
You say what you will. At least it has windows, a porch, and yes, okay, they're boxes.
You don't even
okay?
need to put a
Petition-
roof on it. You could just put one of those Starlink things that are the
Oh,
size of a
here we go
tablet,
again.
and it
Can
would
you-
cover the whole thing.
He
Elon
said to
Musk,
move
the only
on,
reason
man.
why he wants
Move
people
on.
to go to Mars is because it's got 0.84 of the gravity of Earth, and the next generation of women that grow up there are going to have insane boobs growing up in that lower gravity.
Petition for
They're all gonna be
referendum to
Sydney
ensure
Sweeneys.
Alberta remains in Canada, approved by Elections Alberta. A petition asking for people if they believe Alberta should remain in Canada is now rolling out across the province. The petition asks, do you agree that Alberta should remain in Canada? This is Thomas Lukazik, a former progressive conservative deputy premier in Alberta, submitted the petition in June and has made it clear that his initiative is an attempt to foil any plans for Alberta separatism.
I'm telling you, they're not letting you guys go. Say what
Well,
you will. They're
here's
never
the
going to
thing
let you go.
is-
I told you this months ago. The federal government will ensure that you guys are not going anywhere. You're literally the money basket. Yeah, let me lose my golden goose. It's never going to happen.
Thomas Lukazik is essentially his big thing is that we don't want a referendum on separation. If it was such a crazy minority thing that was just a couple random kooks in the middle of the fucking woods that wanted separation, you'd be like, sure, have as many referendums as you want. Let's have a referendum topia. Let's have a conference. Let's do referendums on everything. And you'll see that nobody wants what you're saying because you're dumb. And this is him trying to silence the chance for people to speak up.
I know, but I'm telling you, it's not even him, Twos. It's not even him, Twos.
Remember Game of Thrones, where it says when you tear out a man's tongue, you're not proving him a liar. You're only telling the world that you fear what he might say. That's exactly what's happening.
But again, this is fantasy, and let's talk reality. I'd like to bring your audience back to reality. Most of Canada does not think the way Alberta thinks. The Constitutions Act does not think the way Alberta thinks. And let's get something straight. If I'm being honest, I want you to have what you want. You should get out of this clown show called Canada. Let's get that clear, okay? But I'm also being realistic. There are too many obstacles in the way. And if you're going to get that referendum, because right now it's all about the question, and you ask the question, and now you're going to get a bunch of people that are going to try to undermine the results of said question. And then we're going to get to federal, to basically back to Ottawa. What do you think they're going to happen? Oh, yeah, this kind of looks legit, eh? Yeah, let's give it to them. Bye, guys. No, that's not how it's going to work. And I love how the Albertans think that that's how it's going to work. Oh, we got a majority. Define a majority again. And who defines that majority? So it doesn't matter what Lucchese said here to undermine you. I'm telling you, the level 99 boss on this is not like any one person. It's the entire tentacle-filled system called Ottawa.
Thanks, Kevin. Perfect pronunciation, Vesper. Just throwing that out there. Okay.
Yeah, all right. That's
all right.
All right. All right.
I
Staggering-
didn't realize the
one.
correct
Staggering-
pronunciation had so many pauses in it.
I watched Dune 2 last night, part 2.
That's so
And,
gay. That's so
Chris-
gay.
Christopher Walken has his cadence, I guess. Anyways, staggering.
Yeah,
11
he observes no punctuation, Christopher. That's what it is. What makes him great is there's no punctuation in anything he says.
Correct. Staggering. 1,100 men in Ontario inquired about sex with kids in a police sting. I mean, yeah. All right.
Okay, can we move past that? Because
Yeah, we really can.
The
We
fact
really
that
get-
there's
What do you want? What do you want to say, Toos?
where the hell were they even looking for this? Not because I want an answer, but the point is that if there's some place where you can just put up an ad saying have sex with a child and they get 1,100 inquiries into it,
I don't want to know.
we should probably worry about the fact that there is that avenue for them to have, as well as the fact that there's 1,100 people.
If there's an Epstein Island, this is not shocking. Let's move on. If there's an entire island for this, then none of us should talk about it. Let's just move on.
Yeah, it's called Great
Growing
Britain.
number of beer stores closed. Residents are left empty-handed. This is Ontario after they allowed convenience stores to sell beer.
Oh, this is just absolutely tragic. It's
Wait a minute, you
horrible.
guys don't have. Hold on, you guys don't have that? We have that in Quebec. Our convenience stores, all of them, all of our Bonnisoirs and all whatever, we sell a ton of alcohol. We sell the only thing we don't sell is like super hard liquor, like whiskeys, but we sell wine, beer, anything. You guys don't have that in Alberta?
Not at convenience stores.
No,
But here's the
no.
thing: is
And
that
how's
we
it that
don't-
you guys
we
are
don't
more
have,
drunk than Quebecois?
That's an
well,
argument to be had.
Like, how can you guys be getting more drunk than us when we have it available everywhere? Maybe to deter
we
the
have to
Albertan
drown
drunkenness.
our sorrows for having
Right.
whiny neighbors.
We're not your neighbors, bro. Are you saying Manitoba, they're whiny? Come on, bro. Why are you hating on the West?
Okay, here's the
I can't
thing.
believe
So,
a Quebecer would defend Manitobans against an Albertan. Sean, what are you doing?
You know the best thing about this? I feel like Twos has met his match. The amount of times he's left speechless is just like, I'm like, what is this? This is fun to be a part of. Carry on, you Twos.
well,
You'd
it's
like to say
interesting because
something.
I'm trying in the back of my head, on at least some level, I'm trying to keep the conversation flowing a little bit.
Oh,
So
is
it's
that
like,
what you're
okay,
trying
all
to do?
Let him make a point. And
That's
I'm gonna
my
move
whole
on.
job here, to keep it moving. You two yahoos are arguing.
I'm not.
You
I'm
better,
not. I'm
you
not
better
too,
not
I'm
hope we
Vesper.
have a performance review anytime soon, or you're going to be right Colford.
Battle River Crowfoot by-election ballot to have
No,
you had
this
your
is
chance.
important. This is important. Okay, so all of the government-owned liquor stores, not all of them, but a bunch of them are closing because
Yes.
they opened it up to the free market. And they even talked about how they had a monopoly on it, but the service sucked, the prices were shit, and the decor of the stores was garbage. They openly admit this in this article. And they're like,
Yeah.
and for some reason, everybody wants to shop other places.
I don't understand.
Go figure. Go fucking
Battle
figure.
River Crowfoot by-election ballot to not have names.
Yep. Actually, you know what? I before this dropped, a really reliable source told me not to talk about this because they were doing it. It's fascinating, isn't it, though, Twos? How many hours do you think those longest ballot clowns spent doing this, fighting for this, campaigning for this, only to have it go like, yeah, it's not going to happen anymore. And anytime this happens again, we're going to stop it, basically. You know, so in the back of my mind, I'm kind of like, you know what? It's fine. Hold on, I'm getting a call. I got to just decline the call real quick. I think
How
what
is that
makes
not a win?
because think about it. I think it's a win, but remember how you were defending clowns because you know how you're a clown, and this whole thing was that like, oh yeah, you know what? This is democracy. This is democracy should be blah 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 blah. And I told you, yeah, they're making a ballot the size of
I don't
this.
sound like that.
Yeah, well, yeah, okay, you kind of sound like that. But the point is that like these guys wanted a 12-foot long ballot, and you were like, yeah, I mean the whole thing's a joke. Why not continue with the joke? This is why I'm Batman and you're not, okay? Because I actually believe we need to have some semblance of society, and these clowns wasted years fighting.
Your Batmobile is a Prius.
That's fine. It is.
They
And it doesn't
managed
matter. It's
to
still
go from
cooler than your
longest
BMW.
ballot
Mine has wing
I
cams.
am not that douchey. All right. They went from longest ballot to shortest ballot ever. All right?
Shrinkage.
Yeah. So they don't have long ball syndrome.
I hated that. By the way, that haunted me for like 2 days. Those pictures, I was like, oh no. Oh, no.
Okay. For those of you who don't know what was happening there, tune into last week's episode. Okay. So now it's the shortest ballot ever. And if they're going to stop them from doing this again, that means it was effective.
And the government of Canada said
like the Sean Avery rule.
And you know what's funny? Canada even said that like basically even if you misspell the person's name wrong, they'll make sure that it's who it is. So I was like, can we just call it P and Air? And like you would understand that was Pierre. They're like, yes, when I called them. Like,
you called them and talked to them?
Yeah, like can I write PEE-AIR P air, like P into the air, and they would understand I was talking about Pierre. They're like, yes. It's not illegal if you get it, like if somebody wrote it wrong. So it just undermined the entire system, is what I'm trying to say.
I think it's great that it's pointing out how silly the whole thing is.
An Alberta town just set a nearly 120-year-old cold record in July. That was Peace River.
Yeah, and
Fascinating.
it wasn't the only one. Cold Lake set a new record. High Level, Lac La Biche, and Red Earth. Which anybody who's ever been to Red Earth knows that seasons do not fucking matter in that godforsaken place. It can be the middle of October and it'll be 32 degrees. And then if somebody pees in the air, you're not getting out of there without chains. Like if somebody takes a leak on the ground, it is just a mud-ridden hellhole.
You remember the New Orleans jail that several inmates escaped from back in May?
Yeah, we talked about that.
Yep. They mistakenly let an inmate walk free due to a clerical error.
They got his name wrong. So there was somebody who had a similar name, and then they were like, yeah, just anybody here named Bill? And he's like, oh, that's me. And they said, oh, well, you get to get out today. And then for some reason, he didn't correct them.
You know what I?
Now they're
you know
hoping he turns himself in.
You know, I had a really crazy thought yesterday. I don't know if this is off the point here. It probably is. But if people that are really intending on doing harm in Canada, I mean, I know I shouldn't be giving them ideas.
Advice?
Yeah. But I mean, why aren't you taking jobs at like zoos and just letting out all the animals?
Like 12 monkeys.
Pretty much.
CBC, here's Franco Terrazzano. CBC records show it employs more than 250 directors, 450 managers, and 780 producers that are paid more than $100,000. It lists them all off, and you can go to the taxpayers' website to see the entire report.
493 producers, 36 technical producers, 168 senior producers, and 86 executive producers. They don't do local news anymore. They basically got one channel and a gazillion people on the payroll. It's absolutely insane. If this was your company, anybody's company, they would go in and just scorched earth. They would red earth it.
Yeah, but I've always played around with the idea. Imagine they came to us, said, "Hey, you want to take over the CBC and see what you could do in a year or two?" I'm like, "Oh man, just give me the chance. We'd make the CBC great again."
124 directors and 106 senior directors. Come on, like that's a little bit redundant.
By the way, question: did you guys see what Northern Perspective dropped yesterday about CBC in that interview? That they have a literal crying room inside the CBC head offices where they take people to and basically shit all over them and insult them and then tell them to cry it out and get back to work. Did you not? You guys got to watch that. That broke my mind. I was like,
Can
wait a
I
minute.
get that job? I would love that job.
Can you
What has
imagine?
Stu's been hired for? The crying room. Yes.
Right. Doom, doom, doom,
Nobody
doom.
watches you. You're completely irrelevant. You have bad ideas about everything. You can't write for shit. You don't know a damn thing about grammar. We could literally replace you with either a chimpanzee or the latest version of Grok being run on a pocket calculator, and nobody would ever notice. You will die alone, and your family hates you. 5 minutes, get back to work.
Ontario Human Rights Tribunal dismissed Jessica Yanive's complaint against Canada Galaxy Pageants. Do I need to
Doesn't
say
she
any
just
more?
look majestic?
No.
So this
No.
is the same one
Listen,
who tried to sue.
The level of insanity. Hold on. The level of insanity, just to Sean, I'm sorry to cut you off, too. Actually, I'm not.
Are
sorry.
you?
But
Are you?
No, I'm not. I just said it. I said it before you said it. There you go. Okay. Just so you know
Because
the
you
level.
cut me off again.
Yes, exactly. But that's my job, right? That's why he invites me to cut you off because he's too nice.
That's usually
So-
the bartender's job.
Okay. Just question, Sean. Is there a reason why we have to talk about absurdly obscene things consistently or like something that is not like clown related? That's just all I'm asking.
I just find it hilarious, and I put it together.
You're listening to the clown. So
Oh, then I apologize, clown. Continue. My apologies. I won't cut you off again.
bring in the clowns. Anyways,
All right.
go on.
So, you guys might remember us like early Mashup when we talked about that dude who tried to sue the esthetician because they only offered services to women and refused to wax his balls. This is the same dude. he tried to enter a kid's beauty pageant, and they said, well, not only are you not a woman, but you're also not a fucking child. So no. And so then he kept on stalling and asking for extensions to, because they said, well, you need to actually prove that you've undergone, do you still have balls, basically? And that was what the court was waiting on. And then finally they just said, no, good enough. It's done.
Alberta's. So this was an Edmonton Journal article. Twos, you gotta point out what we're going for here. Alberta's Minister of Education and Child Care recently issued an order banning some books from all school libraries in the province. The basis of this book ban is to restrict explicit sexual content, which is subjectively defined. This means that from September onwards, classics such as George Orwell's 1984 and Margaret Atwood's The Handmaid's Tale will be banned from school libraries for all students. That's what the story read.
Yeah, but it's fucking wrong.
But it's wrong. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, so they're banning books that have pictures of boys filleting each other.
Yeah.
So all the books where one child puts his penis in the mouth of another child are being banned.
Come on, man. Like, I don't need you to do that. That's too much, man.
But they're saying, they're banning 1984 and Handmaid's
Tale, I know,
which they are not.
They're banning books depictions of sexual acts. It says such as masturbation, penetration from all Alberta school libraries, and neither 1984 nor The Handmaid's Tale contain such explicit content, so they are not banned.
Yet the Canadian Civil Liberties Association is explicitly claiming in this tweet that that's what's happening, despite the fact that it literally is fucking not.
Vesper never comes back on the show after this.
No. I mean, because it's like there's some, I have limits. I know people don't think that I do because I could talk about anything, but whenever, I don't know, ever since I had kids, Sean, I can't hear about this. I think a while ago I told you how I took my entire school board over this because of what they were showing on kids' laptops. We talked about this too, as you and I also.
Yep.
How there was like rampant access to porn all over the elementary school network. And I urge everybody to listen. Grow a pair. If your kids are in like basically elementary, go walk right into the principal's office. Tell them, I want to see the network, and literally search everything on the students' networks. If you see anything remotely that is at like sexually or explicit, my 8-year-old kids, guys, forget like the books. They could go on the internet and see everything you just said in school on their network. So I urge all parents, no matter where you are right now listening to this, I dare you to walk into your principal's office, tell them bring one of these kids' laptops and just go searching for anything on that laptop. And if you are able to ping breasts, butts, sex, drugs, guns,
Sydney Sweeney,
make a massive, I'm serious about this, make a massive stink, because my case, guys, Sean, I told you this, it ended up at the National Ombudsman for Education in Canada. And they immediately dealt with the entire province, just province. I don't even know if they went to other provinces, but in Quebec, every school was audited for their network. That was the work of like 4 people that worked with me behind the scenes. I really want people to do this in their schools. Grow a pair, go in, and for your kids' own sanity and safety, go check.
Very good, Vesper. Is China a better trading partner than Trump's America? There are increasing signs that Mark Carney's cabinet, which is anxiously trying to mend the crumbling alliance with the United States, is quietly pursuing a major policy shift in Canada's relations with China.
Short answer, no. China's actually a pretty bad trading partner. They gave us a coronavirus. And the fact that the Globe and Mail is still putting out...
about? We're talking economics, not like when did we trade a pathogen with China, bro?
Yeah,
literally everything we have is from China. What are you talking about? The only thing we don't have is maple syrup and some of the cheese, and that's it.
And
what? We have your PlayStation is not from China? What, your Samsung that you love is not from China? What are you talking about? Okay, what did you get from the US besides that beautiful Shelby Mustang probably outside in your driveway? What else do you have?
Nice. That would be a good Batmobile.
Name one American thing you have besides woke Hollywood, Disney, and Netflix.
Inferior
My
beer.
wife.
Oh,
Yeah,
come on. You mean
Mrs. Tooze,
their
Mrs.
beer is all
Tooze.
basically so much? Yeah, okay, but that's different. Come on. Now you're conflating things. Are you trying to start a war? Okay, fine. I'll bring my wife into this too. Do you really want to do this? You're dealing with a Greek, by the way, bro. The kind of person who'll kick in the door and say, "This is Sparta, mofo." Okay, like let's not take it to our wives. Let's just mano y mano here. All right. What in the hell are we trading with America that is so necessary besides entertainment?
Starlink, Twitter.
Okay, that's Twitter. What? What? Everything that we
StreamYard.
actually need.
This platform that we're
These
on right now
screens-
comes from the United States of
Wait, wait,
America.
wait. Yeah, but you wouldn't have this platform if you didn't have these computer screens you're looking at that are not made in America. And you wouldn't have any of the cables connecting your internet if they weren't made in China. And you I can keep going on and on. What are you talking about? The best
I'm pretty sure
trading
this
partner.
microphone was made in Malaysia.
Does it
Point
really
is,
matter
either
at this
way,
point?
it was likely built by a child.
All I know is that I win this argument. That's all I know.
The
NDP
point
releases
is that the Globe and Mail keeps putting out these puff pieces for fucking China, and what the fuck is up with them?
NDP releases official rules for leadership race to replace Singh. They've released, and they're telling candidates they must gather specific numbers of signatures from supporters in diverse regional, racial, and LGBTQ plus groups. Leadership candidates must collect at least 500 signatures each to enter the race. No more than 50% of those signatures can come from non-transgender men. The party says at least 100 signatures collected by each candidate must come from people in equity-seeking groups, which includes party members who are LGBTQ plus, indigenous or racialized, or those who live with a disability.
It keeps going. At least 10% of a candidate's signatures must come from young New Democrats aged 25 years and under, must also collect 50 signatures apiece from each of 5 different regions in Canada: the Atlantic, Quebec, Ontario, the Prairies, and BC, and the North. So what a bunch of idiots. I get the fact that the NDP are not a serious party, but you guys
NDP are not a serious party.
You guys are literally sitting as independents in parliament because you don't have party status. You have no fucking money. You have no fucking direction, no fucking leadership. And you're going to make anybody who might be dumb, bored, or just as masochistic enough to run as leaders of this party, you're going to make them jump through these fucking hoops?
I mean, at least they're not, at least they're not making their national anthem, House of Pain, jump around permanently, right?
It's absolutely insane. It's ludicrous. Like, you look at this, and I get the fact that you think it's funny because
it is.
You look at all these boxes you got to check. You're basically one car crash away from checking every single one of them.
Yeah, but
and
remember
the state of healthcare in this industry in your country of origin. It's not a case of if, but when.
Listen, first of all, let's just get something clear. Let's leave my country and the shithole neighborhood I came from, okay, out of this conversation. Okay, number 2, the biggest, most important thing is nobody in the East cares about the NDP. The only reason this is a really big deal is because they had a big problem in the West with the NDP. Honestly, Quebec, we don't accept anybody but liberals and Bloc Québécois. Everybody else does not matter.
10 years ago, the NDP were the official opposition because they swept fucking Quebec.
Yeah, but what has happened since then?
They got a bunch of idiots.
Okay, great answer. Moving on.
I don't know if anyone.
Sean has that face about move on. The only reason I'm moving on to, just so you know, I'm not letting this go. But the only reason I'm moving on is because Sean's eyeballing me. Like, are you going to keep doing this? Are you going to keep doing this? So I'm just going to be quiet.
I assume he was looking at me.
I don't know if anyone cares. I assume nobody cares, but I'll read it anyways. Justin Trudeau dined with pop star Katy Perry in Montreal. Does anyone care?
I do.
Does anyone care?
I think
I do. I do.
You care.
I care.
Okay. All right.
I care.
Tell me why you care, Vesper.
I care because I want to keep track of the lonely and sad life of this man. And I want to keep tracking him until one day he passes away in loneliness and sorrow. That's why I want to see how pathetic it is. It just, for me, it's this story. So usually I like stories with a bad beginning and a great end. This is a bad beginning, a bad middle. And you know what? Damn it. I want it to be a bad end. Like at this point in this thing, I want a really bad end, and I want people to keep dibs on this guy for what he did to all of us here in Canada, because he was never equipped to lead a country, let alone handle a bicycle. You have a teenage bopper, 55-year-old man who does not know how to behave like an adult, and to me, it's sad, it's pathetic, and I hope we keep exposing him for the kind of lunatic he is. That's it.
How do you think Russell Brand feels about the fact that he's now Eskimo brothers with Justin Trudeau? Like it's insane. Like just picture them out on a date together. Like, look, I get it. Once you've had blackface, you're never doing a boat face, right? But he'd be like, oh well, people sometimes tell me that I live in a bubble, and she'd be like, I love bubbles.
Yeah. Also, you know what? Remember that thing we were just talking about a minute ago about the whole tariff thing with Trump and Palestine and everything, Sean? Remember how you were saying like everybody was jumping all over me because of like that was in the past? I literally have a post to show the hypocrisy of that, because everyone's telling me that was then, this is now. I'm like, then why are you still posting blackface Trudeau whenever you're mocking him? That was then, this is now. See, I'm consistent at least in my bigotry or in my hatred of someone. Right? That's the point. Everybody else seems to be very selective of what they hate and what they love from day to day. And so I think if you're going to hate Trudeau for what he did 8 to 9 years ago with blackface and grope face and elbow gate and this, that, and this, then, you know, we should give that to everybody. We shouldn't let anything go for anyone. Am I wrong, Twos?
Oh, I think you're absolutely freaking right. But it's just, the whole thing is hilarious. Like, look at this. Like, it's just, they're the most vapid people in the world that you can possibly think of, right? Like just try and picture two more self-centered, egocentric idiots. Like I imagine he's probably like bragging over appetizers about the time that he froze their bank accounts. And then she'd be like, I froze popsicles. And then,
I know.
He would say, well, what do you mean you froze popsicles? They're already frozen.
Yeah. But you know,
okay, look at this. This is him at the Katy Perry concert. Dude looks coked out of his fucking mind.
No, he doesn't. God, man, you got to stop hyperbolizing stuff. He's just a fanboy. Okay. His wife left him. He's a single man. He doesn't care. He gets to be as gay as he wants to be from now on. And that's it. All right. I mean, it's not like he was hiding his love for Katy Perry before. He just doesn't have to ask Sophie anymore. Period. All right. He's elated. Look at him. That's the face of freedom. That's not the face of coke.
He looks like he's about to chew off his fucking tongue.
Okay, but that's him. Dude, there's people that have you been to any Comic Cons? Some people don't see just one Star Trek character from like 1980 and they literally want to pass out. I'll shut up now, Sean.
Who cares? YouTube will no longer limit ads on videos that drop the F-bomb early. I'm sure Twos, this is just singing to his ears.
It's great. If you say,
oh, did I try F? I'm sorry.
Bit.
Did I say F? If I said any Fs, I apologize. I didn't mean to.
No, this is
This is definitely Twos. This is definitely Twos.
Yeah. So if you say asshole or bitch in the first 7 seconds of a video, YouTube won't automatically demonetize you.
Okay. So basically, the quality of your content's about to drop, is what you're saying.
Twos would argue that
is about to drop.
Twos would argue that
the quality is going to remain the same. It just won't face administrative penalties.
By the way, I hope the audience that's watching this is not hating on me for saying that, because a lot of people want the freedom to say what they want. I just think like there's a certain level of quality that I'd like to bring. And sometimes, you know, using crude language is funny, but some people I find just abuse it consistently. And it's not so funny.
You want to know what's funny? The rooster. Where did that come from, Twos?
It came from the No Swears episode.
And has it been a hit?
Yes, it was a hit.
Because when Twos doesn't swear and he has to get creative, Twos is the best Twos.
Yeah, I mean, dude,
now, some people will argue with me on that, but the rooster slurper was a stroke of genius that people laughed at and thought was hilarious because he had to get around something that he couldn't say, so he said it in a different way, and we saw the best Twos. Personally, the best Twos at that time around, I thought.
Okay, fine. We'll do another No Swears episode, and then afterwards, we're going to have to update the logo to a rooster and a gopher.
What the heck?
I don't know if anyone cares, but Twos does. 9-volt battery chip flavor.
I'm really curious about this. You talk about, okay, to answer your question about what important things are we going to get from the United States of America?
Oh my goodness.
These are nachos that are flavored like a 9-volt battery. How do you even do that? Like, is there magnets?
Okay, Sean, honestly, we really need to get an aptitude test for Twos. Okay. We need a psychological assessment like ASAP, because I need to know if the left part of his brain is literally communicating to the right side. Rewind 9-volt battery chip flavors. This is your curiosity. I need to know that this is not serious. Please tell me that you're not curious with this.
What
is.
important things does the United States give us?
And you qualify this as important?
There.
Dude, I would rather know what the taste of Bret the Hitman Hart's hair is before I taste this chip.
You would
why not keep it Canadian? Why don't we just first keep it Canadian before we go to America? And I guarantee you this was not made in America. How much you want to bet that almost all of the ingredients were sent in from the
Mexico.
Asian countries or the Asian countries?
Yeah, which are
who
naturally
are creating
the
who are renowned for creating the precursor materials, according to you, right? In Mexico.
It's not made from literal 9-volt batteries. You realize
no,
that, right?
no. Assessment, psychological assessment. You want me on the show next time, Sean? I want to see a written psychological assessment. That's it.
Yeah, it's basically going to be the Ron Swanson.
We got
Twos.
I can do what I
want.
We got Twos who drink Sydney Sweeney's bathwater. That was in an episode way back when. And we got Vesper who would eat Hitman the Heart flavored chips. Hitman the Heart's hair flavored chips. All right.
At least I'm keeping psychological assessment
on Canadian before we continue.
At least I'm keeping it Canadian.
Deportation hearing for alleged mafia boss in Canada derailed by wiretap decision. Vincenzo Jimmy DeMaria, a man accused of being a mafia boss in Ontario, has successfully fought off deportation for more than 40 years.
Yeah, they've been trying to deport him since 1981, where he killed a guy in front of a fruit store in Toronto. And
where are they deporting him to?
Italy. He was born in Italy. He came here when he was 9 months old. He's a mafia boss. What fucking country did you think he was from? God.
Because to me that no, you don't get it. I know, but that's not exactly like a bad thing. Like if you deport me back to Naples, like it's not a horrible thing. See now, like deporting me, a Lebanese guy, you have to go back to your country. No, that I would understand, or India, but Italy, really? Hey, you have to go back to Tuscany. What am I going to do now? Like honestly, why doesn't he just go? It's time to retire anyway. Might as well go back to Italy, have your wine and gnocchi. That's what I think. It's not a horrible thing. I don't even know why he's staying. If I was him, the mob is losing money because of this liberal government.
Twos, I want you to show the videos of the WNBA, specifically the dildo one, because that was funny. That if I'm gonna have a chuckle at the end of this, I'm gonna listen. So I don't think Gatorade. Here's a tweet. I don't think Gatorade and the WNBA fully thought this marketing campaign through. It's one of the WNBA players with a flag, and it says "Let her cook." And they probably hadn't thought that entirely through. But Twos, you got to show the video. Yes, show the video.
So here it is. So this is a WNBA game. And for those of you who missed watching it, which is everybody, here's a quick recap.
Hayes gets blocked by Maya Caldwell.
And boom. That was a giant dildo flying onto the floor.
If you fast forward to the end, it actually shows it.
Let's see.
Yeah, right here. Yeah. Just keep. Because they're trying to get a. They're trying to see.
He's already got it.
They're trying to see what it is.
Hold up. There it is.
You can imagine the fan was ejected, but that's what's happening in the WNBA.
I think you mean today. Erected. But speaking of ejected fans,
by the way, hold on. You know, it's a really funny joke. I heard Norm Macdonald yesterday say a funny joke about the WNBA. It's so funny that you guys showed this to me. Norm Macdonald had this one joke. He said, "The last time I watched a WNBA game will be the first time I watched a WNBA game."
Well,
nobody watches it. Nobody watches the WNBA,
Well,
and
and
the
this
fact that
part
it's a
of-
dildo, almost something tells me that it was some kind of I don't know, lesbian trans activist that's throwing it out there. Like, hey,
Yeah, this isn't misogynist. That's kind of their
Yeah.
MO. All right,
Yeah.
check this one out though, Vesper. This also happened this week in the WNBA.
Through the rim.
Now, if you look, this just pay attention on the
I'm
top
watching.
side of the court. Boom.
In.
That right there, right behind her.
Went through
He
the
runs
rim.
over and grabs it. Her wig fell off during the game. And then
Oh,
she
no.
picks it up and immediately
Oh, no.
runs off to the change room.
No, she gonna go head to the back.
Yeah, but there's nothing wrong with that. I wear wigs sometimes.
No, but here's the problem is that they actually ended up somebody was mocking her and they kicked him out.
See,
They made fun of her for the situation on the court. They got security. Her wig fell off in the middle of the game. And somebody did what anybody else would do, which is make fun of the situation because it's fucking hilarious.
Yeah, but
And they went
listen,
and tracked down that person in the stands and kicked them out.
Yeah, but you know what? If you've been married for any extent of time, and
Mhm.
this is not to rag on any of the wonderful women out there in your audience, but yeah, there are things that we find really funny, and sometimes we say them, and when you don't smile and you just give us that look, that means that our life might end that day if we don't, just turn around and walk away.
Mhm.
I can understand why situations like this would happen.
You understand why the WNBA kicked out one of its few there's only like 8 people who go to these games and they're kicking one of them out over laughing about this?
Yes, because it's unfair. But honestly, in the
Like, their
grand scheme of
revenue is
things,
going to go down by like 12%,
which is what, $12?
basically.
Yeah, okay. Let's move
All
on.
right. Happy news. I'm shifting the happy news this week too, as you had one, but I'm going to give you another one. Here's Ken Kalinchuk wearing the he got it for his entire grandkids, so they're all
Yeah.
rocking a gunslinger shirt.
There are 7 people in that picture all wearing Mashup Gunslinger shirts. That is pretty happy news.
I thought that was super cool.
That is, yeah, that picture you sent me was awesome. I feel like we would be remiss if we did not bring up this excuse me, happy news.
Sure. U.S. billionaire backs BC ostrich farm as it fights to appeal avian flu cull order.
Yes. So we've had her on before, the lady
Yes, we
from this
have.
farm, and now they're actually getting some backing from people in the United States saying, hey, this is bullshit, and we're going to help you fight it. And I think that's great.
Do we have any community news this week? I know I'd sent you one, and I'm just going to pull it up quick.
Okay, you pull that up. And in the meantime, Strathmore Rodeo this weekend, and also the Heavy Metal Music Festival in Drumheller. I can't remember what it's called. Like Yell Your Lungs Out or some damn thing. But there's a heavy metal music festival in Drumheller this weekend.
Dr. Mark Trozy is in Grand Prairie August 6th. He's actually doing a whole tour across Alberta, BC, I think, as well. But he's August.
But what's
August
it for exactly?
Well, it's talking about a whole bunch of different things too. He's speaking on COVID-related topics, on fallout from the vaccines, a whole list of things.
All right.
But that's 6 p.m. At the Oasis Church in Grand Prairie, Alberta. Dr. Mark Trozy, August 6th. So there you go, 6 p.m. to 10:30. He's speaking there. Anything else?
I think that's basically it. August 7th, there's going to be the debate in Stettler. So Poilievre's going to be there. They've already had a couple so far. They've been interesting. A few kind of missed opportunities by people going up against Poilievre, but I mean, it's understandable. They don't do this for a living. But yeah, the one on August 7th, I can't remember where it's going to be other than Stettler. I don't know the exact location.
Yeah, I want to just thank you, Shaun. I know we're right at the end here and closing out, and I just want to thank you again for bringing me on with a mentally ill co-host. And I'm serious. I want a psychological assessment next time I come on. Okay, that will be my only requirement. That's it. Thank you. Bonesaw's ready.
I'm the one who needs a mental fitness test.
There's a line from Oscar Wilde. He says, "Mad men who hear the music often ponder why others aren't dancing," and that's me.
I like that.
That's
Yeah.
me. So,
Folks, thanks for hopping on. Vesper, thanks for joining us today. Tuesday,
you're very
good to be
welcome.
back.
Love you guys.
We're here
Yeah.
every Friday, 10 a.m. Mountain Standard Time, for the Vesper part of the world. That's noon. I had to, dealing with twos is one thing, dealing with Vesper is another. It's like, hey,
Yes.
where's this link? I'm like, I sent it to you. What time is it at? What time zone's it in? I'm like, yeah, it's
Look at
all
the-
right there.
look at-
It's
look what
all
Kevin
right
wrote.
there in the thing I sent you. But hey,
Hey, threes beats the twos. Just want you to know that, twos.
I'm a birdie and you are par. So why do
Gentlemen-
people say things are subpar when they're bad? Subpar is actually
All right, wait. I gotta go. Love you guys.
all right.
twos,
Peace out.
Vesper, all you fine folks. Thanks again for hopping on.
Welcome to the mashup.
Tell me whether I'm wrong or right. East or west, up or down, side to side. I sit to stand and fall to fly. Of all of my impulsive plans, pop and lock and salsa dances on demand. I follow leading off the map and stop the chatter, scream happily.
Welcome to the mashup.